Semester, obviously you're doing your persuasive speech all about your thesis topic, and that's why I want to get you used to doing persuasive speeches now so that when the thesis one comes along, you kind of have already done one, and I thought this is a fun one to do. Let's end the semester with something fun, like talking about pets and animals. So I'm going to go over the format and do a sample speech for you to show you exactly how it should be laid out. These speeches will be 3 to 5 minutes long. I'm also going to give you new partners today. You will need a typed copy of the outline on your performance day or earlier. You know, I'll check over it. It's going to be an outline format. So I know you guys are used to writing speeches that are just paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs. That's actually not how you write a speech. You actually write it in outline format and then read it through that outline format. So I'm going to teach you how to do that. So your homework, planners out, will be to write your introduction in outline format. And I'm going to teach you how to do that today. So your homework is to write your introduction in outline format. You will be allowed to use your Chromebook for the practice, because if there's something wrong with your speech, I want to give you the opportunity to fix it. So I don't want you to memorize any of it right now, because I want you to be able to change it. And I encourage you to use a big font for it so that you can have it on your Chromebook up here reading off of it. So we'll need to get a podium up here for next week. And then I kind of want to talk about how you do that when you're doing a speech. And this kind of goes with if you're doing a reading at mass or anything. When you don't have to have it memorized, but you want to make eye contact, what you do is you take one finger and you place it where you're reading. And that way when you look up, you can refer back to where your finger is. Read da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. Okay, so you're kind of keeping track of where you are with your finger, so you're still able to make your eye contact. I am not going to make you memorize your pet speeches. You will be allowed to use your Chromebooks to give your pet speeches, but you still are being graded on memorization, so you can't be looking at your Chromebook the whole time while you're giving your speech, or looking at your piece of paper the whole time while you're giving your speech. And then if you want my feedback, obviously this is an optional print out your intro, okay? It will obviously help you if you print out your intro before your practice, because then I can follow along with you and help you out, but it's not mandatory to hand in your outline. Your outline will be graded though when you go for a grade, so keep that in mind. All right, so let's go to page 21. So this is an example for all persuasive speeches that you will write. You will use this example, this outline, this format, and make it look kind of like this, okay? So this is actually a speech that I wrote back in 2001, maybe before some of you were even born. Yes? Oh my gosh, I'm so old. So I wrote this one in college, but this is the format that it should be in, okay? So I start with my name, my professor's name, or a Speech 101 class, and the date. Remember, you do the date professionally on these. And then a catchy title, exercise your mind with this information. So this was an exercise persuasive speech. So I'm not going to say the words introduction, nor attention device, nor topic, but I'm going to have them all labeled. So your introduction will have a Roman numeral 1 that says introduction next to it. Then you'll have a capital A that says attention device, and then you're going to put your own attention device in there, and so on and so on. You notice that you'll have 5 Roman numerals total, just like a 5-paragraph essay. So your intro, your body 1, your body 2, your body 3, and then your conclusion will be your 5th Roman numeral, okay? So everybody's are going to kind of look the same if you were to hand them in to me, because they're all in outline format. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so let me go over this speech. How many of you have heard the myth of the freshman 15? That is the myth that in a student's first year of college, they gain an average of 15 pounds. Some excuses for this are I eat more fast food, I snack throughout classes, or I don't play sports anymore. So, highlight this. Your attention device is usually 2 to 4 sentences leading into the topic. I do not tell you what my topic is right away. Maybe it's a question. Maybe it's a quote. So for your animal, You want to have maybe a sentence that is unique to only your animal that's going to have us going, oh, I wonder what animal they have, okay? So you're going to have to come up with an attention device that leaves the audience going, ooh, I wonder what they're going to say next. So from my attention device, can you tell that my speech is going to be about exercise? You might have a little bit of a hint, but you're not sure where I'm going. That's what an attention device is it gives a hint, it makes the person that's listening to the speech go, oh, I wonder where this is going to go. So that's what you want to do for your attention device. Maybe it's a pun, maybe it's a joke that a lot of people have heard of. You want it to be something familiar. So the myth of the freshman 15, how many of you out there have heard of the myth of the freshman 15? If you haven't, you'll probably hear it when you go to college. But that's why I chose that particular thing as something to start with. Then I would give my topic. So here's my, okay, you heard the attention device. Here's my topic. I think that if people were to exercise into their daily routine, the freshman 15 myth would be just a myth. So this is an example of a topic, but that's how you would do it. It's basically one sentence telling me what pet you chose at that point. C is your credibility statement. This is where you're telling your audience why you are fit to talk about this. I feel I can talk about this being a regular exerciser and that I've thoroughly researched the internet and interviewed a registered nurse. So that's another example of how to do your credibility. Maybe you own the animal that you signed up for. And by the way, you're not making up that you own a lion or something as your credibility. I want it to be truthful. These can be fun and silly, but you still need to be truthful. One kid last year, I think, said, I've always enjoyed sharks and find myself always looking for sharks when I go to the beach. I mean, weird, but true, okay? So that's what they're into. D is the why you should listen. You should listen because according to WebMD, which by the way, back in 2001, it was more legit than always telling you that you were dying when you type in any symptom of anything. So WebMD was a little bit more legit back then. And highlight that, you must have and say your citations out loud because in a normal paper, you would put your citations in parentheses behind your information. Here, your audience isn't going to have your paper, so you have to say your citations out loud, and you do need to have citations in there. If it's something widely known about dogs, like dogs are man's best friend, you don't need to cite some source for that. That's something that everybody kind of knows or a quote. But if you're giving statistics like a number, 1 in 5 people have blah, 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 you need to find out where that number came from and use a citation there. So write that in the margin. Anytime you use a number of some sort, like this percentage of whatever, you need to have a citation that goes with whatever number you found or whatever number you looked up, okay? So, you should listen because according to WebMD.com, fewer than 10% of adults exercise at least 4 times a week. Exercise is not only safe and acceptable, it is essential to gaining health benefits that last a lifetime. So this particular part is a unique example to your topic only, and it will fit no one else's speech. I should not be able to pluck that sentence out and put it into a different pet speech. It's not specific enough if I can, okay? So make sure this is specific to your pet. Maybe it's a statistic about how many people in the US own your pet. Maybe it's a statistic about how long they live or something like that. So this is definitely a statistic. And keep in mind who your audience is. So when I was writing this speech in college, my audience was a bunch of college kids. So your audience is a bunch of high school seniors, okay? So keep your statistics something that they could relate to. And then your thesis. This is what's coming up in the next bodies. In the next few minutes, I'm going to talk about the misconceptions about working out, the benefits of working out, and tips on exercising and how to get started. So I'm giving a preview to body 1, 2, and 3. So body 1 is always misconceptions. So this is where you're going to give all the misconceptions about your particular animal. Some people may say, I'll just use turkeys. Did anybody sign up for my turkey? Oh, thanks, Keller. I'll just use turkeys as an example, but some people may say that turkeys are grumpy. I'm just making this up because I'm not trying to rate your speech for you, Keller. But according to blah, 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 they're actually always smiling. I don't know if that's true, Keller, so don't take that quote, okay? But that's where I'm going with this, is that you're going to give misconceptions. Some people think sharks are dangerous. But in reality, here's a statistic to prove that wrong, So body 1 is misconceptions and fixing them. So here's my body 1. Exercising has gotten a bad rap. studies show that exercisers tend to get hurt more often. If this is true if you are moving. You have a better chance of getting injured. You also could be hurt crossing the street or driving, and that doesn't stop you. According to WebMD.com, again, like, is that legit back then? It's still okay, but 65% of runners get sports-related injuries over time. Yet, they tend to bounce back quicker due to having stronger muscles. Inactivity is one of the 4 major risk factors for heart disease. Like all muscles, the heart becomes stronger and larger as a result of exercise. Therefore, it will help you live longer. So I'm giving facts, statistics, whatever to back it up. Okay, remember, this is a short version to kind of give you an idea. Then I have my connective. Highlight the connective. So my connective is not part of any of the bodies. It's indented back out, but it's going to combine body 1 to body 2. So now that you understand the excuses that people make for exercise, let's talk about the benefits. So body 3 is all about convincing. Highlight that word. It's about convincing your audience why this pet is for them. Exercising does not have to be hard if you have the correct advice. Studies show that it's never too late to start exercising, that even small improvements in your physical fitness can significantly lower the risk of death. There is no best exercise when it comes to the general population. The best exercise is one you enjoy and can stick with. Laura Tewes, a registered nurse, recommended that it's better to add activity to keep your body from getting used to one type of activity. Okay, notice how everybody has at least some citation. Make sure that everybody has some citation in it to back up what you're saying. So then, another connective, notice how it's indented out, highlight that so you notice that the connectives are not part of body 1 or body 2. If I have persuaded you and you are interested in starting to exercise, pay attention. So body 3 is all about, now that I've convinced you to buy this pet, because body 2 is all about you convincing them, body 3 is going to be how to get the pet and take care of it, okay? So like I said, last year some funny people like to do funny things. So, well, if you want to get a moose, you've got to hire a helicopter to take you to I mean, that's true, we aren't rich, but I guess you could say that. So just don't be like, you need to go out in the woods and carry a bear back with you. I don't know if any of you can carry a bear, I doubt that, okay? So I'm just saying that you've got to kind of keep it a little bit legit. But we can have fun with it. All right, so body 3. What are the next steps? Exercise is easy and get involved. We live in an age where physical appearance is highly noticed. NKU has an Albright Center. Thinking about exercise. Okay, and then on. And you notice that I have some citations in there. Okay, so body 3 is all about, good, I've convinced you. Here's what you do next. So this is the same for when you do your thesis speech next semester. Only it's going to be obviously way longer. But your bodies are going to be, here's the misconceptions. Here's how I'm going to convince you. And now that I've convinced you that my thing is the right way, here are the next steps. What can you do to get involved? All right, and then V is your conclusion. So that's Roman numeral 5. In conclusion, I'm restating the thesis. I showed you the untruths, the benefits, and how to get involved. And then a strong ending. Highlight this. This is usually some kind of pun or quote that goes with your topic. So for mine, I said, the saying, no pain, no gain is wrong. How many of you heard that quote? No pain, no gain. I think it was like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know. Any physical activity you work into your schedule will lead to health benefits that will last a lifetime. So I hit you with something at the end. These are meant to be fun speeches. So maybe you have a pun that goes with your animal at the end. So I think somebody had a duck one year and said, so now waddle down to your door and buy it, okay, so you're getting punny-ish. I love a good pun, but you don't have to be punny. So, next comes your works cited. Make sure your works cited has everything that you've quoted in there. And then, at the bottom of page 22, this is your assignment. You are writing a persuasive speech to convince people that think that this is an awful pet, why they should have this pet. And so, you might need to ask a friend, hey, why would you not want to buy a turkey? Hey, why would you not want to buy a shark? And get some examples from people in your class so that you can try to use some of those as your misconceptions, okay? It must have an intro, 3 bodies, with their citation said out loud, 3 to 5 minutes, appropriate, so make sure you keep it appropriate using my sample. You'll be graded on both the written speech with a works cited, and you can use MLA 7 or 8, whichever one, I'm not picky about that, and delivery. You will also be graded on having a visual aid. So I'm going to create a slideshow, a Google slideshow, so you can make a visual aid that will be behind you on the board on the day that you go. If you want to bring in a stuffed animal of it, do not actually bring in a turkey or a duck or a shark. Okay, whatever you sign up, do not bring them in. Turkeys are messy. I already know that. So you will have a visual aid for this. You will not have to memorize it. Highlight that. On page 22 at the bottom, you will not have to memorize it. You may have your outline up here with you, but again, you should not be reading off of the outline, okay? Use the strategy of using your finger to keep track of where you are, as well as reading it quite a few times so that you kind of have an idea of how to go. All right, so this is your format. Everybody will hand in an outline at the end. Look at page 23. This is your rubric. You'll be graded on the usual Gen VACA. You'll dress up. You'll have a time limit, and then you'll also be graded on your visual aid. So if you decide to go the route of a slideshow, you might just copy and paste into one slide a bunch of pictures of your animal or whatever it is, okay? And then the back of it, page 24, this is the rubric for your written speech. So I encourage you to check off everything as you go, as you make your written speech, so that you can get a 30 out of 30 on your written speech, okay? So I've given you all the tools that you need to write your speech. Any questions so far on your first persuasive speech? Okay, let me give you your new partner so you can write it on the front. Go ahead and on the front cover, write what animal you have.
What's the permanent ending?
The tournament ending?
Yeah.
Go back to page 6. I think there's 2 weeks of performances for this one, maybe. On page 6, half the class performs the week of December 2nd and half the class performs the week of December 9th.
How do we join that?
Oh, turnitin.com?
Yeah.
I'll give you that code. Okay. I'll create it today so that you have it. You don't need to turn it in until the final copy, so, okay? So if you want me to look at your outline when you're practicing next week, just print out a copy so that I can read along with you and jot some things in the margin. All right. Let's see if I can do this without repeating any partner that you've already had. Andrew, Boston, you guys been together? Drew and Shannon, Madison and Gustav, Katie and Lauren, John and Bree, Abby and Ella, Mia and Mary Lauren, Allie and Kazoo, Elizabeth and Keller. Oh, we have an odd number. Okay, Elizabeth and Keller, and then Jack, I will put you with John, and John, who's your buddy? Bree? Okay, so you'll be a group of 3. Okay? And the partner is there to help you kind of get ideas from them, give you feedback, tell you if you're fidgeting too much. Remember to help your partner out with Gen Bec, okay? What I want you to do right now is go to your partner with your mask on, standing, and your paper, and say, "Hi, partner, give me about 5 reasons why you do not want a turkey." We all want a turkey. I already know the answers, but I'm just using turkey as an example because, I have those turkeys to talk about all the time. Okay, masks on. Go ahead and move. Kelly knows.
If you don't want it to.
If you want to change your animal, you can do it now. Yeah, say, why would you not want to buy my animal so that you can help? She's helping me make your misconceptions.
Stop it.
You can't really play with it that much, I guess.
Two more minutes to brainstorm.
Maybe exercise.
First off, I would divide and squat and kill yourself.
Okay. What's it like?
Nothing like this. Second off, I don't feel like maintaining one.
Okay, so first of all, it's
I already got 2 cats and a dog. One of them will die by the end of the day. I guarantee it. Like just one of them will kill. At least one will be up.
shit or something. I don't know.
Alright.
It wouldn't be living in
Okay, thank you all. Don't forget your intros. Your update pass.
Today.